Hi friends, thanks for stopping by. As you know, I recently participated in a swap, if you're a regular on my channel, hosted by Tony at Craft Purge here on YouTube and Instagram. And she hosted a summer embellishment box swap. And I have a video posted and I can link it below of everything that I created, everything that I put in here, and all the requirements. But I've had a few requests to show how I made the clutch for this box. This box is just a simple, it's found in the hardware section at the Dollar Tree, okay? And I think every crafter knows exactly what that box is. Anyway, so let's set that off to the side and we'll get started, okay? So we're gonna make this out of cardstock. For this one, I've chosen Simple Stories Flea Market, okay? So we're gonna start with a 10.5 by 11 inch piece of paper. Let me pull that down just so you can see it there, okay? And on the 10.5 side, and when I say 10.5, I mean it's gonna butt right up here to this 10.5 mark, okay? We're gonna do a 1/2 inch, and I've already scored this, so I'll just kind of go through the motions. And we're going to go to 1.5 inches. Then we're going to come over here and go to 9 inches. And, well, that wouldn't be good, would it, if I went that way? And 10 inches, okay, all the way down. And we're going to turn this paper to the 11-inch side, so it butts right up to the 11, okay? We're going to go to the 5 and to the 6, okay? So we have an inch strip right here, if you can see that, and an inch right here, and then 1/2 inches on the sides. And we have an inch right here, okay? Then we're gonna take our 7.5 inch piece of paper, and I'll put all the measurements in the description box for you, and 6.5 inches. On the 6.5 inch side, we're going to score at 3.5 and 4.5. This is going to be our flap. And since I have it right here in my hand, I am going to round my corners with this. I think I'm going to do the big side. Just like that. Okay. Really easy. Okay. And that is all the scoring that we are going to do, okay? So on our, see if it's easier to see this side. No, this side probably. This is going to be my back. This is going to be the outside of my clutch, okay? We are going to remove, if you can see, up to not, so there's a 1-inch section here. We're not going to cut into that section at all, okay? We're going to cut that line right there to this line right here that we embossed on the 9-inch side, and we're going to do the same over here. We're going to cut along the bottom, and we're going to go over to the 1.5 inch line, okay? And as you see me do that, it will make more sense, okay? So we're going to cut straight as we can. And then on this side, I'm going to go past. So see, here's my mark right there where I cut. I'm going to go just a little bit at an angle. Okay. Just a little. I'm going to cut this off right here because I don't want to rip it. And sometimes I use my cutting board, my cutting mat, to do this just so I know I'm getting a really straight line. But it will be just fine for this tutorial, okay? All right, let's get that off there. Okay, and that's at a little bit of an angle, okay? And we're going to bend, crease, so valleys become mountains. Does that make sense to you? Valleys become mountains. So I embossed or scored, embossed, debossed, I guess, on this side of the paper, okay? And I'm going to fold towards that side of the paper with my embossing line. And sometimes you can do everything right and the paper will still tear. But what you're doing when you score is you're kind of destroying the fibers in the paper, and you're going to train this paper to be folded, okay? And like I said, sometimes it's just the paper. Some paper just will tear easier, and the fibers are tighter together. I don't know exactly what's going on, but this one folds great. I love Simple Stories paper. I remembered that we need to cut this too. So I'm going to cut this first. We're just going to, am I doing this right? I hope so. I haven't made this for a while. Let's see if I'm doing this right, if I can remember right. Yep, I am. Okay, so see how I just kind of cut that? Maybe you might be able to see it better there. Just kind of at a little slight angle, okay? And we're going to do the same over here. I'm going to cut it straight first, and then at an angle just to that point. Okay, and we still have this flap on here. We don't really need this flap. If it helps you, if it makes you feel better, just cut it off. I think I did that on my original one as well. So, okay, now if you have a preference to, I'm just going to kind of fold this up the way it's going to be glued so I know where for the next step. Oh, another thing, let's do this too. Right here on this corner, on this little flap that's 1/2 inch, we're going to cut at an angle, because it bugs me when I make a box and you can see the paper, and that will make more sense in a minute. Okay, so here we have our flap piece, and this is going to go on the inside of our bag. Okay, you can put it on the outside if you would like to. I just think it looks not as finished, so I'm going to stick mine on the inside, and it's going to butt right up next to that crease. Okay, and I have to remember how it goes. Okay, so opposite sides. Oh gosh. Okay, so let's put the tape on. All right, so here we are with our flap attached and the rest of our little clutch. Okay, so now we have these little pieces right here. This little piece is going to be glued. This little piece right here is going to be glued to the bottom of this. Okay, can you see that? So I'm just going to grab my glue and glue that little piece. Okay, that's all we're doing at this stage. And you want to make sure it's nice and square. Okay, so you have a nice flat bottom there. We're going to do that over here as well. Okay, and we're just going to make sure that's nice and square on this side. Okay, and now we have this little situation. Okay, now all we're going to do is take this and glue this down to this. Okay, that little flap is our little glue piece. Okay, and I'm only going to do one side at a time because I don't want the glue to dry. You can use a glue gun if you want. I think a glue gun kind of tends to make it bulky, and you can see the bumps and feel the bumps. So I just use wet glue, and you can use double-sided tape if you want. Okay, and then over on this side, there's enough of a space that we can open this up and glue this down. So I'm just going to kind of hold that open a little bit and glue this down and try to stay in the lines. hands. Just kind of hold that for a second. And then we're going to go on the inside, pull that out so it's square. Okay. Then we're going to flip it inside, and I'm going to take my folder and reach in there. Oh my gosh, look what we forgot to do. We forgot to put on a handle. Hello. So I'm going to, I cut a strap that is, let me measure this so I can tell you precisely, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 3/4 of an inch. But you know, you can decide if you even want to have the strap on your clutch. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to fold it here. Okay, so what I'm doing is just making my ends that are going to lay flat. So I'm just kind of doing that to both, so they'll be the same. Then I'm going to fold this against itself and fold this against itself in that spot. Okay, and then I'm going to decide if I want it all the way to the edge. And I don't. I want to leave just the smallest fraction of an inch right there. Okay, and I'm going to use hot glue for this for sure, so it will adhere quickly. On the ones that I made for the swap and the sample I showed you, I have a little flower brad, but I'm not going to do that on this. I'm going to put, I think I might put a pearl, half pearl. I don't know for sure. Sometimes I change my mind in an instant, but it always works out, right, fellow crafters? And center that, and there we go. Just hold that down so it's flat there. And that is a really tall handle, but that's just fine. And you can hold it like that and it's really sturdy. Just need to figure out how I want to close this, and it will be finished and ready to go to somebody with a nice collection of ephemera or dangles and charms and whatever else you want to put in there. So there you go, friends. Thanks for stopping by, and I would love to see what you make, and have a fabulous day. Bye, guys.